Welcome one and all, I'm Decoy, and today we're in Meet Your Maker, where I've got a handful of really useful tips, especially for newer players, though there might be one or two things mixed in here that you might not have known about. But up first, we're going to talk about something simple, and that is unlocks and crafting. Specifically, right over here at the hardware person, which for the most part seems somewhat worthless to me. Except for, hey, I finally have a use for all these stupid parts I keep collecting. I have entirely too many. So, I got in the habit of trying to keep around 100 grenades on me at all times. I just recently unlocked the little bubble shield thing. And I'm really looking forward to trying out the other two. Maybe the respawn beacon the least. I realize it's not a respawn beacon, but whatever. You know, I spent a lot of time in Battlefield. Bear with me. Now, the next thing that is super important is boosts. And the back three people are the ones that I'm constantly boosting. But the suits guy, always boosting him. It is dirt cheap, and knowing what you're getting into is priceless. So, pretty much anytime I'm going out doing runs, he will always be Tier 3. I used to run him at Tier 2 when I was poor, but yeah, totally worth running at Tier 3. Knowing what the two most common traps are, how many enemies, traps there are, and you can kind of math out what you're going into. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is when you go in to pick the map, obviously, pay attention up by the name to the right, the size of the map. That is really important. It's going to determine how long you're going to be stuck going through that map. Because generally speaking, if someone picked the largest build size, you are going to be in there for a little while. I mean, I can say that, like, there have been a few of the smaller maps where I've ran into people that just layered their map upward, and it took a good bit to get through it, but not nearly as bad as the large maps. Alright, so I think let's move on to, like, after you've beaten a map. Please remember to select accolades, alright? This is a really important step, especially if you've gone into one of the harder difficulties. They don't see as many players going to those maps, so it is really hard for some of them to get enough prestige to keep theirs active all the way through. So always remember to give at least one accolade. Up next, we're talking about picking build sites. 3 really key things here. 1, size of your map. I highly suggest trying to stick to the smallest map size, as you will get the most players going to your map. The next key thing is the number, the little bar at the bottom, 9,000. That is the number you want, unless they eventually have a number higher than that. But rule of thumb, 9,000. Now, of course, you also got to worry about your build budget, but honestly, it's not horrible having a smaller budget. Aim for the 9,000. Alright, so now that we're in checking out this map, I gotta say, first impression, this is horrible. Absolutely horrible. We've got a ton of worthless blocks in our way that we will not be able to get rid of, but I do see quite a few floating around that we will be able to just magically delete all at once. And for those of you who don't know, there is a super easy way to just delete all these random blocks that are deletable. Just go into your build menu, and then down at the bottom of the screen you have Strip Outpost. Hold the button, and it'll just delete all those worthless blocks all at once, and then you can get on with your life and start building something good, hopefully. Next key thing I want to talk about are the ancient tombs. There's one right there. So when you first get into your build area, after deleting all the random blocks, go find your tomb. Figure out where it's at. General rule of thumb, if you're a builder, you should really want to incorporate that into your build in some way. Or, at the very least, leave a little path that shows people where to get to it. That way, they get done with that, they get in your base, and you can start killing them, alright? Get to the action quicker. But yeah, you go up to a tomb, you hit it, it'll drop a bunch of resources, you also get some XP. So, as a raider, you definitely want to find the tombs. It is a super useful thing. But there are people out there who have built little traps that are, you know, horrid and will kill you if you go for it. Now, you wonder, why am I jumping? Well, that is because through watching my replays, we're going to have a conversation about jumping that I didn't think we were going to have, but apparently there's a handful of people out there who don't know you can double jump, and even better, you can grapple jump, which is awesome. And you can combine the two to grapple jump into a double jump, and you can get some good distance out of that, cross a lot of ground really quick. It is a key thing when doing a speed run. So yeah, I totally had a replay where a guy was just struggling to jump. He couldn't even jump on top of a single block. I kind of felt sorry for him. Now, I kind of slowed the video down because I forgot. Real quick, after you've built a base, people start running it, watch your replays. Because you never know what little insight you're going to get. Even the ones who do it without dying. If you watch some of them, you may learn how to kill them next time. Alright, and that's pretty darn valuable. Now, so this right here was to demonstrate that the slow approach sometimes isn't the best. I guarantee most people, if they hung out in that long hallway and tried to take the slow approach, are going to die a brutal death. Yeah, it's just, there's a lot of nasty stuff at the end of that hallway, and you take it slow, you're going to have a tough time. But anyways, I think we've covered a lot of the key points. You know, sometimes, you know, you just got to go a little bit faster to get through an area. And on the other side of that, you know, maybe sometimes take it slow. It's a real balancing act there. But I tell you what, I think that's going to about wrap this one up. But next week, I'm going to try to bring you a nice list of just building help, little tips and tricks. But I hope you've enjoyed this. Please remember to like, sub, and share. Later.